I've been practicing magic for more than 20 years and teaching it for almost 10. And these 10 magic habits matter more than buying that expensive ingredient you saw on Instagram or finding the next cool spirit ally. And so, in absolutely no order whatsoever, 1, praying morning and night. It's okay to suck. It's not okay to skip. This is a Alex Hormozi, possibly Layla Hormozi suggestion. You've probably been there. You're all tucked up in bed, heads hit the pillow. Ah, damn it. Evening prayer. And it's cold and I don't want to go out. Listen, it's okay to suck. It's not okay to skip. So, pray with your gay little head on your pillow and set the intention to suck slightly less tomorrow and remember it then. The same goes in the morning, of course, but I get up very early, so I rarely forget the famous last words, right? I rarely forget the morning prayers. Now, if you happen to be driving to work and it's like, ah, damn it, Thursday, Jupiter, it's okay to suck. It's not okay to skip. It's not ideal, but sucking is better than skipping. So cut yourself a sufficient amount of slack. Be sufficiently generous with yourself as you are onboarding what is absolutely an essential habit, because it's not just the energetic change that happens in an individual prayer on that day, it is the field shift that happens over multiple days. And a little bit in that direction is better than none in that direction. 2, acknowledging spirits of place, but most especially spontaneously. You can probably tell I'm not in my house. I'm not in the Wizard Hut. I'm at Port Arthur, actually, which is, in fact, Australia's most haunted site and a place of deep sadness and tragedy. And it's also spring, which, for one thing, is when Mother Nature has menopause, because in Tasmania, at least, it's gales, and then sunshine. And in this brief moment of sunshine, I've run out to the gardens of this historic place to film this video. But I learned this spontaneous place acknowledgement from ayahuasca, actually. When you are with the medicine and she's doing her visionary movement thing and dancing, I just sort of spontaneously would say, like, you're so beautiful, grandmother. You dance so well, grandmother. And the response is incredible. That's a little extra tip if you're ever sitting with the medicine. In a universe that is animate, in a cosmos that is a community of beings, when you encounter something stunning, when you encounter something like really living its best oak tree life, daffodil life, trout life, acknowledge it. Acknowledge the beauty of a place. This is adjacent to the Diné concept of the beauty way. But when you engage with spirits, particularly at the level of place, the spontaneity is how the rest of the cosmos works. Have you ever just watched a bird? Materialist scientists will tell you it's because it's a mating call or something. Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes they're just singing because it's awesome to be a bird on that particular morning. You can do that. It's awesome to be you in that place, in that particular morning or evening or whatever it happens to be. 3, take dietary restrictions seriously. Now, I'm not saying you mama's so fat. I am the last person to be talking dietary restrictions in that sense. You know I don't mean that. What I mean is you will find, particularly in the grimoires, some preambles, some highly recommended preambles of fast for 3 days. And fasting often there means, like, you can have a little bread and water, but, you know, lay off the knuckles of pork, right? And I really do suggest you take them seriously. This is one of those things that's very tempting to shave off in the modern world, in the world of Uber Eats, when you are looking to bring the ritual practice back into the modern world or into the modern world. You look at that and go, Because some of them haven't survived the test of time particularly well, like avoiding menstruating women, and sure. Other ones, you just got to do your best. And I will tell you, and this is another ayahuasca revelation, you can sit with the medicine without sticking to the dieta, to the rules beforehand, the really strict energetic rules around food and drugs and alcohol and sex and what have you. But if you do them, the contact is so much better. It's so much stronger. And it's been my experience that the same thing happens with spirit contact. So take dietary restrictions seriously. They're not the place to look for give in the launch sequence. 4 is energy work in the shower, specifically chakra work. And this kind of gets back to it's okay to suck, it's not okay to skip. Because you're sort of sudsing anyway when you're in the shower. And this is a really good opportunity to check in with whatever energy system I use the chakras mostly. Check in with whatever energy system you are working with, especially as the way I teach and use healing is that you kind of spin them counterclockwise to clear out some of the accumulated energy that might not belong there. And you're sort of, literally, you're kind of doing that action anyway, but it places it in your daily routine such that it is less likely to fall off. And magic essentially runs on energy, whatever that is. So being able to have a cumulative energy hygiene practice, very similar to the praying day and night practice. 5, keeping up with pacted spirits. Once you've landed one in the boat and you've had the initial agreement of what you're going to get, what they're going to get, keep up with it, particularly if the pacted spirit has a place on your altar or however you manage housing for your spirits. The pact, it's my experience anyway, remains in place, but this is another fidelity of contact moment. Keeping up with pacted spirits. This also is good to know before you move into the pact, because if they ask for something that's either a little bit expensive on an ongoing basis, there's some give there as well. Usually they don't. Usually, I mean, I do most of my underworld stuff on a Saturday morning, and it's depending on the spirit. One of them specifically likes Grant's whiskey, which I don't. That's disappointing. But whether it's spirits for the spirits or water or incense, copal, what have you, keep up with it. 6, speaking of Saturday mornings or Saturday in general, Saturday is ancestral remembrance. It's Saturn's day. Coming back to the shower, coming back to praying day and night. Saturday rolls around, Saturday morning, pacted spirits. Saturday somewhere in there is ancestral acknowledgement. I have a separate ancestor altar as well, which gets more love than just on the Saturday. But this is another example of building habit into your life that has a cumulative effect. And it's the habits we're talking about that changes your life more than picking the right spirit from a list. So again, okay to suck, not okay to skip. Set the intention now. Saturday you're going to do at some stage in there some sort of quiet ancestral acknowledgement, and allow that practice to, as Jeff Lawton, one of the co-originators or early originators of permaculture would say, allow that system to complicate itself. Allow it to become your ancestral Saturday tradition. 7, having a go-to oracle. And when I say oracle, I don't mean trendy ones. I mean very unfashionable ones. I mean oracle card sets. I have my own. I have created several years ago which is not available at the moment, a Lenormand deck. But I'm talking even, dare we say, less cool than that. I'm a 4 winds trained shamanic healer, which means I use Alberto Villoldo's mystical shaman oracle cards, which, to be honest, I would only recommend if you're operating in his system. But I'm talking oracle cards like that. Have something that you really like that is unfashionable and be good at it. Lenormand these days is very fashionable, but that would still qualify. If you're still like, no, I'm not ready for oracles yet, Gordon. Cool, then go with Sibylla or Lenormand to begin with. But what you get with some modern person's cartomantic system is a completely different, call it route into your unconscious, a completely different archetypal constellation or archetypal assembly that, if you feel into it, we'll cover some of the blind spots that, I mean, they're sort of there in tarot. I hate to say that, I love tarot. But that you and tarot may have developed with each other. There's a trick, right, where an 8 of Swords shows up once and you think this becomes, this is a slander situation for a friend at work. So every time you see it, it's almost like the meaning gets cut off and short-circuited. Some of that is good, that's building a practice between you and the cards, but it can build some blind spots. And it's just a good habit to keep that archetypal dance refreshed and permissioning yourself for it to be something quite unfashionable is part of that. It's actually part of it. It's like, I'm going to constellate around my question with this archetypal assembly, and I don't care who knows it. 8, getting good at yes/no cartomantic questions. I'm going to do a separate video, maybe on the gram. I'm on the gram now for my sins. You might find the link below. But I'm going to do a separate video about this. But get good at yes/no cartomantic questions. And that's not one card pulls. That's asking the right yes/no question, and at the very least, pulling 3 that has suits or something that allows you to go a little bit yes or a little bit no. So if you get 2 blacks and a red, it's maybe no. 3 blacks, no. 3 reds, yes. You see what I mean? You can Marco Polo towards a yes/no, assuming you framed the question correctly. And that, along with a 3 card and a cross, are the workhorses of a jobbing fortune teller. 9, work your way through the classics. And I don't mean magic books from the 1980s. You've read all of them many times. I'm not giving you permission to do that again. Round and round in circles. I'm talking the Timaeus. In fact, I might just change 9 to read the Timaeus. But I mean read, some of them aren't even that long, the cornerstone documents of the magical, dare we say, Western esoteric tradition. And I would begin with the Timaeus, just because I like it. And you know, many of you are heading into the cooler months of the year. It's a good time for reading. But making it a habit, a lifelong habit, to eventually get to be working through the classics of the Western esoteric tradition is one of those habits that provides a powerful field shift. Number 10, weekly beads. And I'm just going to call it beads because amongst the premium membership, we've had different rosary groups and so on, bead club. But I also have some beautiful mala beads that I bought at the Stupa of Infinite Compassion, which I use for, I guess it's mantra work, Aramaic prayers, and I mean, the word is in Aramaic, right? So is it fair to call Maranatha a prayer, which is like the Lord hath come, you know? But have a bead practice. And the thing about a rosary, I love a good rosary, I love a good rosary session. It does take some time, okay? Maranatha, 108. And that's a habit that builds into the framework of your week once again and contributes to that overall field shift. Plus, it's just fun. It's just nice to sit down. It's almost like your own transcendental meditation. You can have a brief mantra or a sacred name. Treat yourself to some nice beads and yeah, just enjoy it. And all of these habits are in the direction of the field shift, in the direction of changing your energetics and the conditions of reality around you, which is the foundation. You add that to mindset and miraculous things will happen in your life, which is why you should watch this video next.